What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another real NBA video. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about Russell Westbrook getting traded to the Houston Rockets. But before I get into the video, please subscribe and like this video. That would be really appreciated. Let's get right into the video. As you all probably know by now, there was a blockbuster trade a couple of days ago where Russell Westbrook got traded to the Houston Rockets, and the Oklahoma City Thunder received Chris Paul and a bunch of future first-round picks. People have had mixed opinions about this trade for both sides, but I'm here to tell you why this trade was the best thing for Russell Westbrook and the Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So yeah, let's get right into it. So let's start off with Russell Westbrook. Westbrook had many ups and downs while playing for the OKC Thunder. He won the MVP title, he won a scoring title, he won many individual awards with the OKC Thunder. But at the end of the day, he could not get out of the first round of the playoffs playing for OKC without Kevin Durant. So when Paul George was traded to the LA Clippers, it was obvious that OKC needed to get rid of Westbrook. There were many teams rumored to have interest in Westbrook, such as the Heat, Pistons, Magic, and obviously the Rockets. But in my opinion, I think out of all those teams, Houston was the best landing spot for Westbrook if he wanted to contend for a championship. If he would have been traded to a team like the Pistons or Magic, he would have been the main and number one option for that team. And as we all should know by now, if Westbrook is your number one option, you're not going to win a championship. If he would have been traded to the Heat, he would have had Jimmy Butler next to him, but I still wouldn't see them as serious championship contenders. But with the Rockets, James Harden will be the obvious main guy on the team. He's been in Houston for 7 years. He led Houston far into the playoffs. So it's pretty obvious that Harden will be the main guy for Houston, and I think Russ knows that. And I think he'll be willing to take a backseat to Harden, knowing that there was previous success in Houston when James Harden was the main guy. And yes, I know Russ tried to take a backseat to Paul George last year, when he was having an MVP type year, but by the end of the year, Russ took over again as the main option. And as we all know, they lost in the first round of the playoffs. So just like at the end of the year, Russ just took over again. Some of it was because Paul George had an injury to his shoulder, but just at the end of the day, Russ took over the team once again, and then they got knocked out in the first round. But in Houston, Russ will take a backseat to Harden, and they will probably make it far into the playoffs. And not to mention, Westbrook will have a lot more shooters in Houston than he ever had in OKC. So yeah, that's just another bonus for Westbrook. As for why this Westbrook trade was the best option for the Rockets, listen. Chris Paul just signed a huge contract, which was 4 years, $159 million. And that contract ends when he is 36 years old. And I know what you're thinking, Westbrook has an even bigger contract than Chris Paul, but you have to think about it this way. Westbrook is a clear upgrade to CP3. He's 3 years younger, a better rebounder. He works just as well in the pick and roll as Chris Paul, and Westbrook can just do way more than Chris Paul can do at this point in time. Westbrook is a top 15 player in the league, and CP3 is not. It's just as simple as that. And you might counter that point by saying Westbrook and Harden can't coexist with each other because of their usage rate. But like I said, I think Westbrook is willing to take a backseat to Harden. Also, there were reports saying that CP3 and Harden weren't getting along at the end of the season last year. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how true that is. I'll just put it up on the screen right now of what the reports were. But basically, those were the reports at the end of the season. And, if they were true, it's a good thing that CP3's gone now. Another thing is that Westbrook is able to give Harden some breaks during games. For instance, if Harden was having a bad game last year because the defense was focusing on him, or he just was having a bad shooting night, nobody could really do anything about it, and the game would just slip out of the Rockets' hands because CP3 is not what he used to be, and none of the role players can create for themselves, so Harden would just have to continue to try to do it himself. But with Russell Westbrook, Harden will be able to get some rest during games and just let Westbrook take over. And we might also see some times where Harden is spotted up for 3 in the corner while Westbrook is driving to the rim, and that will be able to give Harden easy shots from 3 and let him rest a little bit from isolating every possession, and just hopefully let him get his groove back as well. Not to mention, Russ will do some pick and rolls and get Capella some easy lobs, just like he did with Steven Adams in OKC, and hopefully he'll help Capella get back to his old self from 2 years ago. As for why this trade was the best option for the Thunder, it was obvious that the Thunder weren't going to win anything with Russell Westbrook. They tried with Paul George, but in my opinion, Paul George wasn't going to be enough next to Russ to get a championship, so it was time to blow everything up and just start a rebuild. And that's exactly what they did. They traded Paul George to the Clippers for a bunch of future first-round picks and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and now they traded Russ away for more future first round picks and Chris Paul, and now they might be trading Chris Paul for even more picks or young assets, and that's all you need to really do for a rebuild, is to get young assets and future picks. The main thing that I saw Oklahoma City fans complaining about was that the package they got back for Russ was not what Westbrook was worth, and they wanted more in return for Russ. But you gotta understand, Westbrook is 31 years old, he's getting old, his contract is a lot of money, and he has a relatively bad reputation as a quote-unquote stat padder, so his trade value wasn't as high as you probably thought. So in saying that, this package that they got back for Westbrook was actually pretty good, because as I said, when you're rebuilding, all you really need is a bunch of picks and a bunch of young assets. So I mean, that was a nice haul for them. So the Thunder now, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league the next couple of years. Get some young talent in the draft and build on from there. So this is the end of the video now. So yeah, all in all, this offseason has been pretty crazy. And Westbrook now plays for the Rockets, which is crazy to say. Like, it's just crazy to say, like, Westbrook is a Rocket. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited to see how next year unfolds in the NBA. And don't be surprised if Russell Westbrook and James Harden work out. They might be holding up the Larry O'Brien trophy in June next year. But yeah, that's going to be all for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Comment down below what you thought about this video. And I'll see you next time.